with the IBF Super Lightweight World Champion. Liam Paro is back. He hasn't gone anywhere, mate. First off, how you been? And we've got some big news to announce.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me back on the channel, Nunan. I've been good, been great, been ticking over, and there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. We've finally got an opponent and date to make it all happen.
Mate, talk a little bit about since the last fight. Obviously, you won the world title. There was a lot of hoopla of certain individuals that you were going to fight next. But how did you, first off, sort of take this news with fighting your mandatory and what could have been and what the moving parts on how it all happened?
Well, first and foremost, I want to make it clear, we called upon our mandatory as there's been a lot of back and forth nonsense over socials with other fighters, and no one really wanted it when push come to shove. You know, a lot of people got offered and they pretty much nothing eventuated from that. It's just a bit of bridge up on social media. You know, they had a bit of a backbone on socials, which anyone can have, but it's another story. But yeah, we called upon our mandatory. You know, I wanted to fight, like I said, fighters fight. I want to keep busy. I'm in my prime. I just took out the best guy at 140, put me in the hot seat, and yeah, I just want to keep fighting. So we called upon Hitchins to fight, and it happened to be December 7 in Puerto Rico. There was already a card there, and yeah, we're going back to Puerto Rico, the beautiful country of Puerto Rico.
Talk about you going back there, because you went over there, you beat the boogeyman over there. You won so much respect from the fans, not only worldwide, but in Puerto Rico. Do you feel that this fight will sort of be sort of like you? I know it's not Australia and a homecoming, but you've sort of been there before. The Puerto Rican fans know how you are. You came with so much respect, you and your team, that you'll sort of have the advantage. And Hitchins sort of, you know, I mean, he's not from there.
Look, I really hope we won a lot of fans over in Puerto Rico. You know, I love the country. I love the people. It's a beautiful place. It's one of the best boxing countries in the world. So to go back and defend my title at the place that gave me the opportunity to become world champion means a lot to me. And man, I'm just excited to get back there. And you know, there's been a bit of talks on socials. You know, the Puerto Rican people are very welcoming in having us back there. So I don't want to let them down, and I want to keep building my profile there. And let's put on a show and defend my belt.
Liam, when after like through July, August, there was a lot of talk around this Devin Haney sort of thing. I just sort of wanted to get that out of the way, because obviously Devin Haney's a big name. I know he's someone that you respect. You've sparred before, but tell the fans on where that sort of went down. You know what I mean? There was a little bit of Twitter back and forth. You sort of spoke about him. He actually spoke about you. I feel it's still a fight that could happen, but what sort of happened there? Because he's a free agent with Devin Haney Promotions. I know he's done a bit of work with Eddie. You're with Matchroom and Under the Zone. How close did that fight get to being made?
Look, I believe a lot of it's talk until you just get a contract signed. You know how it is in boxing. Try to sell fights. There's a lot of back and forth banner. But look, he called me out. I responded straight away. Like I said, I'll fight anyone. I've wanted that fight for a long time. And we heard it. You've seen it. You've seen that he outpriced himself for that fight. Asked him for silly money. He doesn't bring a belt to the table. So look, we just moved on. You know, we could tell he wasn't serious about it. So we just moved on to our mandatory, called that, and yeah. So that fight is in the future, but like I am with every other fight, 25 other times, I'm tunnel vision on my next opponent. I don't get this guy out of the way. There's none of those bigger fights. So yeah, I'm just locked in on Richardson Hitchins, putting on a dominating performance and showing why I'm going to be running this division for a long time.
We'll come back to some of those names in the 140 division, but we'll get to Hitchins right now. You and him have sort of got a little bit of a different sort of a path. You have fought some of the same opponents in Yoma Alamo. I want to talk about what you really know about Richardson Hitchins and Hitchins, and obviously his last fight against Gustavo Lemnos. Did you get to see it, and what were your thoughts of that? Excuse me, because that was a little bit controversial. Some people saying that Lemnos could have won that in Las Vegas Cosmopolitan. Have you actually seen much of him?
Look, I watched a little bit of Hitchins. Of course, I always scout the division with people that could be potential opponents. And yeah, he was hot on the radar for a while now, coming up through the rankings. And look, man, everyone always says this in boxing: you're only as good as your last fight. And not only me, but the whole world knows that he got his ass handed to him by a 5'5" lightweight Argentinian. So hey, it is what it is. I know he's going to be better. He's going to be training, but Yeah, man, that's I'm levels above. No disrespect, I'm levels above Lemos. I've showed that constantly. My last couple of fights have been unbelievable. So yeah, we've seen him enough. We've got all bases covered, I believe, and yeah, ready to defend my belt and still be champion of the world come December 7th.
Do you feel, Liam, with this fight, this will be a little bit of a different build-up? Me knowing you probably better than anyone in Australia from a media point of view, I just want to make the record clear. You're an extremely humble person. You're very humble inside the ring and outside of it. Well, you can switch in the ring, obviously, but you don't bring a lot of bad blood. But do you feel with this fight that this fight will probably be a little bit of a different build-up because of him compared to a Matthias, a Montana Love, Yoma Alamo, and, some other opponents that you've fought?
Look, I'm always humble. I am 100%. And recently you've seen me being a bit more outspoken as the humble, nice guy. Ain't working as much. These guys, I've beaten all these guys, and they're going hiding. So I'm gonna call everyone out now. I got the belt there. I got that pulling power, and like I said, I want to fight everyone, and everyone's gone quiet. Not one person's called me out after me beating Matthias. So look, it is what it is. I got to sell a fight, and look, I've fought a Yappy cunt before in Montana Love, and we see how that panned out. I don't speak a strong game because I let my actions speak for itself, and you've seen that in the ring. I don't have to try build up a tough persona about myself. Everyone knows how I am. I'm real about it, and you see that in the ring. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how he approaches the build up. But at the end of the day, I couldn't give a shit what he says, man. It's me and him in there at the end of the day. No one in there to help him.
Because I think a lot of the world that sort of know him is like, he's a little bit different to a lot of the other fighters. I think he thinks he's at a certain level that he hasn't yet reached. But when he gets on Twitter, he doesn't mind attacking people, does he?
No, not at all. But if you've seen anyone that follows and keeps up to date with it a little bit, it's all lightweights he's calling out. He's not once said my name, which is a bit weird to me. He's my mandatory challenger. You think he'd be biting at the heels to get in there. But look, that's where I'd be if I was in that position, as I was for years and years at the top of the ratings. I was always calling out the champions. I wanted my shot where he's calling out these lightweights. So I don't know what his approach is with that. He's a 140 pounder. I don't know why he's trying to call out and make potential fights with 135. As a fellow Australian with Cambosis, he's going out. He's a 135er. So I don't know his approach there. Maybe his head's not right after getting his ass handed to him by that lightweight. So who knows? But we know he's in here now with a battle-tested 140 true champion. So we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, I'm excited to defend my belt. This is what it's all about. I want to fight, and I just wanted to fight this year. Going back to why we called out our mandatory.
100%. Paro, I said this to Jai Opataya a couple of weeks ago, just before he took off to London, and we spoke a little bit about Breedis and how he got Breedis out of the way, not once, but twice, and how Breedis was, and I think we all regard him as one of the best cruiserweights in the last 15, 20 years. A guy that you've got out of the way, which is Subaru Matthias, 4 months ago, no one wanted to fight him. You beat him in his backyard convincingly. You must have a lot of confidence, Liam, moving forward. And I think we're going to see a different Paro moving forward. That the confidence from how you dismantled him in his own backyard has not, I don't think people have really quite realised what you achieved there. Would that be something that would be on the money?
100%. I'm always very confident going into fights. It's I always wanted the target on my back. So if anything, winning this belt has just sparked more motivation. I've always said that I want people to try and take what's mine. I work so hard to take that and to earn that spot. So good luck to anyone thinking they're going to come and take that from me. It just ain't going to happen. I'm going to do everything in my will. Like I'm willing to give my life to boxing, and I have. So yeah, look, it's just I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Paro, one thing I want to talk about, and this individual, it's like there's a connection there in a different way with this Ryan Garcia, because boxing changes every month, it changes every 6 months, it changes every week, and it can change every day. If we go back to December the 9th last year when you dismantled Montana Love, some people say Ryan Garcia could be one of the top 3 superstars in the sport. Okay, I could probably kind of agree. He's got a massive, massive following. He called you out. Now, he was going to fight yourself. He actually wanted to fight you in Australia. It didn't happen. Your take on first how Garcia and Haney went down, and then obviously the current situation with Devin Haney and his team suing Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy Promotions.
Look, man, I wanted that fight with Garcia. Anyone wants that fight with Garcia, especially more after he beat Haney the way he did. It'd be unbelievable to get in the ring with him. But look, it's not out of the sights yet. He's coming back soon, and yeah, look, we'll see what weight he comes back at is the only deal. You know, he come in heavy for that fight after a year out. I think he's going to come in a lot heavier. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But the whole deal about what's going on is, I think it's a bit of a circus. You know, I don't really put too much of my time and effort into it because, like I said in previous interviews, I've got my own path. You know, I'm on in my own lane. I'm making my own legacy, and if we cross paths and it has anything to do with affecting my legacy, well, then I'm going to do something about it. But until then, you know, I'm just focused on my legacy, my career, my path, and dominating the 140-pound division.
With Devin and Bill, though, now being advocates about people being clean in the sport, and at the end of the day, you know, black is black and white is white. Ryan Garcia did have PEDs in his system. Is that something, Liam, that you and your team and, you know, you work through the IBF and the commissions that you want this drug testing to be 100% sure, just in case you were in the ring with someone that was on PEDs?
100%. You know, we're not playing marbles. We're in there risking our lives. We're in there fighting. So now I've got no time for cheats in the sport. You know, it just shows what kind of person they are. To cheat, it shows they obviously can't get to the level naturally, which, you know, if you can't do it, well, that's it. You just can't. You don't need to cheat. You know, there's lives on the line, there's families that are affected. So I've got no time in the world for cheats. And I'm all for backing clean fighters, clean sport. And if it means upping the testing, so be it.
So when I'm like, if I can just get a last question, like with Devin, you know, there's different sort of parts of the lawsuit and that, but if it happened to you and you were in the ring with someone, whether you won or lost, and if it was found out that he was guilty of PEDs, you or your team would want the same sort of revenge in court?
Nah, I probably wouldn't sue, man. I don't know. It is what I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not in that position, but I don't think that. You know, I'd just get him clean and try get him back on a clean slate. You know, no matter what happened, he got his O retrieved and the one removed, like all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, man. The world's seen what they've seen, and there's a lot of stuff happening. So, look, like I said, I don't show too much interest in it. It's not my business. I'll keep my nose out of it. Like I said, and until the day it crosses paths with me and it has something to do with me, then I'll put my 2 bob in. But for now, man, it is what it is. Good luck to both of them, and I just hope they're all healthy and fit in the near future to square off in the ring against. That's all my intentions are. I just want to fight everyone.
For you, and there's mad respect, you're fighting your mandatory. You know, I mean, a lot of champions sometimes over the years, the IBF, they, you know, I mean, they don't fight their mandatories. They sort of go a different way. People have different opinions on the belts and that. God willing, you're victorious on December the 7th. You fought 3 times in the last 12 months. We spoke about this last time. You're looking to have a really, really busy next 18 months. Are these the sort of names that we've just spoken about, the Garcias, the Haneys, the Teofimo Lopez, that'll be definitely on the radar for 2025?
1,000,000%. Like you said, God willing, I get the job done December 7th. That's my mind, my focus. But 100%. Any of the big names, any of the belt holders, man, you know, there was talks of my name floating around before I took out the boogeyman, and now everyone's gone quiet. But look, every dog has their day. Everyone has their time, and I'll slowly get to them one by one, I believe. And yeah, I want to unify the division. I really want to unify this division. I believe I can. And it's just a matter of the other champions growing and stepping up to the plate and having a crack.
Who would be the one you'd want to fight the first, Liam, out of those sort of 3 that we've mentioned? But I'm going to mention a couple of other names. But those 3 there with Teo, Ryan, and Haney.
Whoever wanted it first, whatever made most sense, you know. Like I said, I'll fight any of them. Whoever steps up to the plate first, whatever gives me the biggest opportunity to propel my career more and more, I would take. Obviously, I want the belt, so I think off the top of my head, I'd go for the Lopez first. I want to unify, but then, look, it's just All those three names, I want them all. Let's just put it that way. I'll fight every single one of them. I don't care what order. Let's just leave it at that. It's simple. So whoever wants to step up to the plate first, I'll take them out one by one.
Another guy that moves between divisions 35, 40. We don't really know where he really sits. Gervonta Davis, some say he's the face of boxing. Big following, great fighter. Question mark on whether he's really fought the best out there. Is that a fight, Liam, that you see that could potentially happen down the track with yourself and Gervonta? You know what I mean? You sort of, knocking over your mandatory, and then if you unify early next year, Gervonta brings a lot of star power.
I'd open that with open arms. He's a hell of a champion, hell of a fighter. I respect him, man. It's arguably is the face of boxing for sure. Look, like I said, man, I'm a fighter. I'll fight anyone, anywhere. I keep proving that. So I'd welcome that fight in the near future if it made sense for sure.
Another big fight that's coming up very shortly. Well, this week, Opetaia versus Massey. Some people say you and Jai Opetaia are the face of Australian boxing and probably the two best fighters currently at the moment. With no disrespect to other fighters and that, but you guys are the ones that currently have the full world titles. We spoke about him defeating Breedis, in his last bout. What's your take on him this weekend against Massey, and then obviously gearing up for a massive 2025?
Man, another domination. I look up to Jai as a fighter. He's a tremendous fighter, man, absolute animal, and I don't see anyone beating him anytime soon. So I think me and him are both going to be at the top of our divisions for a very long time to come. We're both young and, both two unreal champions.
Jai Opetaia is very similar to yourself, Liam. Like, he's a southpaw. He's just brought his father back into the team as head trainer. We spoke about that recently the other day on a UK channel. How good and how, you've seen his progress over the years, but to see where he's got, has it not really been a surprise for you?
No way. It was just a matter of time before it happened. Someone with that much skill, that much talent, it's bound to happen. You're destined for greatness. You see how hard he works, and yeah, man, I'm the same. I'm one of the hardest workers in the room all the time, if not the hardest worker. And you can't knock the hard work. There's no substitute for hard work, and we're proving that. So, yeah, man, a massive respect to Jai. He's a, like I said, a hell of a fighter, and I look up to him a lot.
Another big fight that's coming up, and it's in your division. This name has been thrown around a lot for you, this Jack Catterall situation. Obviously, he was victorious over Joshua Taylor. But there's also another connection here on the other side where you nearly fought Regis Progress last year. Unfortunately, you went out with not one, but two Achilles. You're going to fight him in New Orleans last year. I felt that you probably would have beaten him. I know God works in so many different ways. I think you feel that, you probably could have got to the world title quicker than what you did, but it doesn't matter now. Everything plays its part.
That's right.
These two guys are they're under the same sort of banner as you in terms of broadcast and match. Is that a fight that you will probably have a look at before you take on, obviously, Richardson Hitchins? Is a fight that you'll keep an eye on just in case there is a potential fight there with you and Jack Catterall, or if Regis Progress beats him?
100%. Everyone knows. I think Catterall was my first international rivalry, over the internet and one on socials, and that's from back about 2020 where we're talking about title intentions. So me and Catterall have a bit of a history there with that, and look, he's going good. He got the win he deserved. He deserved the first time against Josh Taylor. The world's seen that. And 100%, man, I'll just keep going back to it. I want to fight everyone. I want to clean the division fully out. I want, when they talk of Liam Paro, he didn't avoid no man. He fought everyone. He took everyone out, and man, it's just a matter of time where I'll get the full respect that I deserve by fighting everyone and God willing, defeating everyone. So 100% it's a fight that's going to be on my radar. I'm going to tune in and watch, and yeah, it's just exciting. There's so much talent in the 140-pound division. That's some massive fights to be made. I think it's one of, if not the most stacked divisions in boxing today. So to be a part of it, to be at the top of it is a good feeling. And yeah, man, I'm keen to tune into that one for sure.
Do you feel also the likes of the 35 guys, and I know there's the bull. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not even going to say it. With this sparring with Shakur and that. I think it was a little bit more bullshit from their end. But do you see these guys like Shakur at 35, Sapita, who's another one? I was just with him the other day in Los Angeles, a great guy, by the way. Do you see a lot of these guys at 35, so that they're going to push up into 40 into your division shortly?
Yeah, I think so. I think they will make their way up to 140. And look, but at this time they're not here, so they're not even names in our mouths. We're just worried about strictly the guys that are fighting at 140, the guys that are close to title intentions, and the bigger names. So that's where our head's at. Until they come up into our division, they're unheard of, they're unnoticed, and yeah, there's not much real care or interest in them at all.
No, and that's one of the problems these days of social media. And do you find that too, Liam? With and that, it's not no disrespect to the other belts, but would you like to see? And this came up the other day with Turkey Al-Sheikh, potentially bringing in a new sort of way of how he wants to do it under one belt. Would you like to see that if there was, say 4 belts, the BCBA, BO, and the one that you've got, the IBF, respect to the ring, would you like to see one belt, one champion?
I think it would make it a lot easier. I think it would grow the support of boxing. I go back, I've had this argument with a lot of people, and man, that's why the UFC is growing so easy. For the casual fans, it's easier for them to follow. One belt, one champion, it makes sense. You know how it is. You try to explain boxing in the 4-belt era to a casual off the street, and man, they're just going to turn their back and follow something a bit easier. I think that. So, of course, and there's one belt, one champion, one king of the division. I think that would work unbelievable. And look, if it's going to bring more eyes to boxing and grow the sport, I'm all for it.
All right, mate. Well, thank you for your time. There you have it, exclusive. Richardson Hitchins is the man that Liam Paro will be fighting on December the 7th from San Juan, Puerto Rico, live on DAZN Boxing in conjunction with Matchroom Boxing and Ace Boxing. Mate, any last shout-outs to you and your fans? And obviously, last message for Richardson Hitchins. I know there's going to be a lot of media in the build-up, but any last words from you, Liam?
Just thanks to everyone that's supporting Team Paro. It means a lot. Everyone that's joined, that's been to the journey from the start to joining it now. Welcome is all on board, and it's a good run. And I do it for you guys, and I hope I'm making you proud. And I can't wait to be back in Puerto Rico.